Hi, this is Malhotra, the best-selling author of 8 Wealth Habits of Financially Successful People and The Success Answer. You know, I was thinking, recently I was in a shopping center and I couldn't help but notice that, you know, you had the escalators and you had the stairs, and there was 3 times as many people on the escalator as there were on the stairs. And it occurred to me that prior to coming to the shopping center, I'd finished my workout and I realized that there was so many more people in the food court of the shopping center than there were at the gym. You know, I look at what's on TV and I can't help but notice that there is so much drama and greed and temptation on television instead of commitment and discipline and motivation. You know, I can't help but, take notice of the fact that so many more people buy lottery tickets than actually sit down with a financial advisor and plan their future, right? It's just wherever you look, you just see people absolutely addicted to mediocrity everywhere, right? And people don't even stop to think anymore because it's such normal behavior. And it's kind of worrying in a way, because if you look at global trends, everything from anxiety to depression, bankruptcy, relationship failures, financial failures, everything's on the rise, and rapidly. So many people everywhere are failing and yet refuse to do anything to change their circumstances. It's just phenomenal, right? And then what makes it worse is people don't do anything to fix their situation, and when their situation gets out of control, then they start asking for help, and then everybody else jumps in to, sympathize with them. And don't get me wrong, I feel sympathetic towards people that are struggling and suffering. But more than sympathy, I sometimes feel frustrated, because I look at those people and I think, you had opportunities, you had time, there were things you could have done. Somebody I know recently lost their job, and I couldn't help but think that they have not been upskilling themselves, so now they're unemployed, and they've been unemployed for a while. And I asked them, when was the last time you went to a library and picked up some books to educate yourself, right? I see people that have problems with their finances, and they don't make the connection that the problems have resulted from a long period of neglect. Somebody on LinkedIn recently put up a post and said, homelessness is not a choice. Isn't it? Well, think about it, right? How do you end up homeless? Because we really have to start asking ourselves these questions. And don't get me wrong, I'm very conscious of the fact that I don't want to come across as righteous. But we do need to ask ourselves these questions before we start to just sympathize and make people feel helpless. We need to ask ourselves, and they need to ask themselves, how did they get into that situation? So how does somebody become homeless? Think about it. There would have to be long-term neglect of their finances. Maybe they didn't do enough due diligence. Maybe they spent more than they earned. Maybe they didn't upskill themselves, and so they didn't attract a high level of compensation. You don't just end up homeless. The post also said, mental illness is not a choice. Now I know that this is a controversial topic, because a lot of people genuinely believe that mental illness is caused by chemical imbalance. I'd like those people to show me children who have a mental illness. So forget about the severe mental disabilities. I'm talking about just a child becoming depressed. Why don't you see a depressed child? It's because children have a natural, they have a mechanism to basically correct their own thinking. But grown-ups get into bad habits of entertaining negative thinking over and over again. And of course, if you keep doing that, you're going to form habitual patterns of negative thinking, and that's going to lead to anxiety and depression. But so many times when we see people in bad financial situation or bad mental situation, bad emotional situation, we automatically just make the assumption that what they're going through is the cause, and we try and fix the cause, but we never ask ourselves, what is the actual cause? How did they end up here? Because for every person that comes through my office, I mean, I saw somebody today, and we were looking at doing a 15-year plan for them to secure their financial future. And the fact is that if these people didn't take action, if they don't take action, they're not going to be in the position that they're going to be in now, that they are taking action. But for every person that is taking action, there's probably about 10 that are not taking action. And so naturally the results are going to vary, right? Not everyone's going to end up in the same place, because not everybody is taking the stairs. Not everybody's going to the gym. Not everybody's saving money, right? Not everybody's upskilling themselves. So why should everybody then get the same results in life? They're not going to. But the fact is, we need to stop feeling sympathetic when we see people that are not in the right circumstance. And we, at least before we start to express our sympathy, we need to ask ourselves, and they need to ask themselves, how did they get there? Because you'll find that where they are is the result. It's the effect, it's not the cause. The cause is the neglect, the bad decisions, the indecision, the procrastination, right? The laziness. And nobody wants to admit to these things. Lately, another thing that I see is that so many people saying, oh, well, we've got to help people out. Here's somebody that's been unemployed for a while. Can everybody share this post so that this person can get a job? And some of these people who are asking for help, these people that are unemployed, haven't been employed for a while. Well, my question is, why aren't they upskilling themselves? Are they doing research into the market and seeing what kind of jobs are in demand? Why are these people not getting into sales positions? Because every industry out there needs good salespeople. So why aren't they upskilling themselves? Why are they just saying, well, Mom, I can't get a job because of my technical expertise, so somebody should help me? No, but how about you help yourself? And I know that there is a whole notion about, well, let's not be righteous here, but I'm not being righteous. But at what point do we start to take responsibility? At what point do we say that, hang on, how did I get here and I'm responsible? And I've got to stop acting like a victim, and I've got to stop acting like I'm helpless. Because before you ask for help and before you become a victim or before you act helpless, ask yourself, have you examined every single alternative that's been available to you to fix your situation? If you haven't, you're being lazy. And no one's going to tell you that, because in a world where political correctness is rewarded, where politicians who say what you want to hear get elected, where we consider a doctor who's given us what we want, hey doctor, I'm not feeling well, give me a couple of pills, and the doctor gives you a couple of pills, well, that's a good doctor, rather than the doctor that says, hey, by the way, you need to sleep better, you need to work less, you need to exercise more. We don't like people who tell us the truth anymore. We don't. We want people to lie to us. It is no wonder that in today's world, clever marketers are becoming very, very successful, because they're appealing to the primitive instincts of people that make people feel like they're helpless, right? So if I've said to you, hey, you're amazing, you've got everything that you could need, and I did not encourage you or even compel you or even made you uncomfortable enough for you to change yourself, you might like me, because you might go, well, Ron's a really nice guy, because I'm telling you what you want to hear. But when I tell you what you want to hear, I don't care about you, I care about me, because I'm trying to be popular. You see, I'm trying to be liked. When I tell you what you need to hear, even though I know that it's something you don't want to hear, I don't care about how popular I am, because I care about doing the right thing. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to appreciate people who are telling us what we may not want to hear, but we need to hear. And sometimes what we need to hear is that we're not doing enough to remedy our situation. And at the first point of challenge, we start asking for help and we start relying on others without ever asking ourselves, did I do everything in my power to fix my own situation? Thanks for watching.